Okay, this is lesson 4.2, the cosine law. This is video number 4. I have skipped the 3 word problems that came next, and I'm now looking at the part of the lesson that says the cosine law part 2. In this part, we are using the cosine law to find an angle instead of finding a side. So again, we don't have the golden ratio, so the sine law will not work. We have to use the cosine law. Those are the only 2 laws that you have. It's not like right angle triangle where you could use sine, cos, or tan. There is no tan law. There's only the sine law and the cosine law. So any triangle at all, even right angled triangles, can be done using the sine law or the cosine law. Okay, so first we're going to do this one way, and then I'm going to show you another way to do this. All right, so it's angle X that we're looking for here, which is attached to vertex A. So this is side A, this is side B, and this is side C. So because it's angle X, which is kind of similar to angle A, we're going to use the a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of A version of the formula. And so we're going to now start substituting values into the formula. So A is 14, B is 19, C is 18, B is 19, C is 18, and cos of A we don't know. So 14 squared is 196, 19 squared is 361, 18 squared is 324, 2 times 19 times 18 is 684, and cos of X. Now, our unknown is X, and the X is attached to the cos. So it's like we want to isolate the cos of X, but this is multiplication in between the 684 and the cos of X. So the only way to get rid of the 684 from the cos of X, because that's multiplication in between those two, the only way to get rid of it is through division. So what we're going to do is first we're going to move the 361 and the 324 over to the other side. So that's 196 minus 361 minus 324 equals negative, don't forget this negative sign, 684 cos of X. So 196 minus 361 minus 324 equals negative 489, and that equals negative 684 cos of X. Whoops, that's an X. Cos of X. Then to get the cos of X by itself, I need to divide by negative 684. There we go. So cos of X, negative 489 divided by negative 684, that equals positive 0.7149, and then a bunch of other numbers after that. They're still in my calculator. I'm not hitting clear. I'm not hitting anything. So again, to get the X by itself, now we need to cos inverse. So X would equal cos inverse of 0.7149 and other numbers. And so I'm just going to cos inverse that, and that gives me 44.4 degrees. Okay, so that's one way of doing it, starting with the original version of the equation and then rearranging, substituting all the numbers, doing whatever calculations you can, and rearranging. I'll tell you where the mistake often happens. I often see students do 361 plus 324 minus 684, get a number, and then bring it over to the other side. And it does not work that way because it is multiplication in between the 684 and the cos of X. Now your other option is to Rearrange the formula first. So rearrange this, remember that formula forever and ever, and then use that all the time. So let's rearrange the formula. So we've got a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of a. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over here and I'm going to put that over there. So this is going to become the 2bc, that's going to become positive on the left hand side. And then we have b squared plus c squared minus a squared on the right hand side. To get the cos of a by itself, I need to divide by 2bc. So cos of a equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared over 2bc. And that's the other version. Now, of course, this works with cos of b, cos of c. Notice that the angle that you are looking for, the side that's opposite it, is being subtracted in the numerator. If this said cos of b, then you know that you must be subtracting side b on the end. So that only leaves you with a squared plus c squared. And also notice that the two sides in the denominator are the two sides that you're adding in the numerator. So that would be 2ac. Or if this said cos of c, it's the c that needs to be subtracted on the end. That leaves you with a and b to add at the beginning, and then 2ab in the denominator. It's the same thing every time, okay? So it doesn't matter what triangle you're working with. This side, let me just highlight it. Actually, this angle and this side that you're subtracting have to be opposite each other in the triangle. This angle, this side. This angle, this side have to be opposite each other in the triangle. Same with when you're doing the original version, when you're trying to find a side. This side and this angle, they're at opposite ends of the equation. Okay, so if I just go back now to here, bring this back down here, cos, angle A, we're calling x, it's b squared, which is 19, plus c squared, which is 18 squared, minus a squared, which is 14 squared, all over 2 times 19 times 18. Then you get cos of x equals 19 squared plus 18 squared minus 14 squared. Well, look at that, that's 489. Where did we see that before? Oh, we saw something like it right there. And then on the bottom, 2 times 19 times 18, well, that equals 684. Well, where did we see that before? We saw it right here. So now x will equal cos inverse of 489 divided by 684. And that's going to equal, we've already done it, 44.4 degrees. Okay, so let's take a look at another one. It says find the measure of the smallest angle. Well, the smallest angle is going to be opposite the smallest side, so that means we're looking for this one right here. I'm going to call it theta. Now you can label these A, B, and C. You can label these whatever you want. I'm going to label them A, B, and C. Okay, so it's the angle at vertex C that I'm looking for. So that means that I'm going to use cos of C. That means that on the end, I have to be subtracting C, which leaves me with A and B and 2AB in the denominator. So cos of theta equals, this is side A, this is side B, This is side C. So 250 squared plus 300 squared minus 220 squared all over 2 times 250 times 300. So 250 squared plus 300 squared minus 220 squared is 104,100 divided by 2 times 250 times 300, which is 150,000. So theta is going to equal cos inverse of 104,100 divided by 150,000. So I want to divide those two things. So 104,100 divided by 150,000. That's 0.694. And shift cos that answer, and you get 46.1 degrees. Okay, I'm done now.